conscientious objectors during the Second World War were essentially, they put them in camps, but it was more or less you were being imprisoned. They cut lumber, they cleared trails, they did this sort of thing. But they had a group of artists they didn't quite know what to do with, and they sent them all out to this camp in Waldorf. And they actually started a press and printed these really incredible poetry books, etc. And it was really kind of that group of people as they headed down into San Francisco after the war that became this group of people, in part, who were really focused on kind of value and the importance of printing. Ginsberg and Kerouac and all of those guys were about the written word and were publishing, trying to get things out. And in San Francisco and the greater Bay Area, there was a really incredible community of artists who were printing and very specifically using letterpress, old outdated equipment, stuff that wasn't really commercially viable anymore, so that they could make their poetry books and they could make their broadsides and they could do all of those things. And so there's certainly a connection between that and this shop. There's a kind of rebellion that goes on here. Students that come and take this class and whose work kind of fits this model, this kind of hands-on model, they often kind of run up against the other professors here who are teaching more kind of industry standards. So I actually think that there's something about making things by hand. There's something that still is powerful in the sense of taking ownership, taking control, not consuming, right? Making your own materials, your own spaces, your own houses, and this participates in that. And I think it's important, and I worry that we're seeing less and less of that. The 3D printer. How do you think about the laser cutter? I tend to see these new technologies not as ways of kind of connecting with material. I'm much more inclined to read them as tools by which the individual is kind of separated from the material and the process is sped up, which for me ties much more to commercialization than it does to a kind of approaching making as a kind of valuable enterprise.